What's up, guys? Welcome to my film room where I'm going to be going over some Jacksonville Jaguars tape. This week, we're going to take a look at two big plays led up by the defense. Jacksonville's defense ranked top 5 in most metrics available through the first 2 weeks of the season, including an explosive play rate allowed. Against the Texans in week 3, rookies CJ Stroud and Tank Dell hooked up for 2 big passing plays. So we're going to take a look at exactly what happened. First one was in the first quarter. So just kind of going second by second here. We see the Jags are in a 3-4 odd front, and they got some movement going on with their safeties. In this shift by the Texans fullback, Andrew Beck, you might be familiar, brings both Cisco and Rayshawn Jenkins down into the box. So I'm thinking that Beck's motion, let me back up a little bit. Let's just watch the play first. "46 yards, nice catch and throw." So when I first saw this play, I tweeted out that it was an inverted Tampa 2 look, which means that it's like a normal cover 2 zone shell, except in an inverted shell. You'll have like cornerbacks playing where the safeties usually play, and vice versa. And then in Tampa 2 versus just normal cover 2, usually the middle linebacker is playing a little bit deeper in his coverage. So sometimes you'll see that middle linebacker kind of like turn his shoulders and just sprint backwards as soon as the head is snapped. So originally, I was thinking, okay, Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams are both back playing like what looks like safety, and then Rayshawn Jenkins starts running towards the deep-ish, like middle part of the field um, immediately. So I thought, okay, inverted Tampa 2 look most likely. But after going back and watching, it looks like this fullback motion brought Rayshawn down, and then once the fullback kind of went back in motion, Jenkins and Cisco were unsure about their responsibilities of like kind of like the fullback flips the field by going in motion, and so like they were unsure if him going in motion again flips their responsibilities back again. So instead of a Tampa 2 coverage, this is actually a just cover 3 zone look with Rayshawn Jenkins supposed to be manning the deep middle zone. But Rayshawn just kind of gets caught out of place, or possibly Cisco gets caught out of place. And Rayshawn, I mean, you see him clapping there. Maybe he's just excited. One of the 2 safeties got caught out of place on the cover 3 zone. So you see Rayshawn kind of realizing that late and sprinting to run and try to catch up. But Tank Dell puts a pretty good move on Darius Williams. I guess you could say like the blown coverage is in part between Williams and Jenkins if you had to put the blame on someone. But really, like a lot of defensive players said after the game on Sunday that the 2 big plays were just because of miscommunication. So whoever's area, deep middle of the field this was, they weren't in the right spot. And credit to CJ Stroud and Tank Dell for making a play out of a miscommunication. So watch it one more time. All right, the next play came in the fourth quarter to kind of put a dagger in the game for Jacksonville, or for Houston against Jacksonville. This one went for 64 yards and a touchdown. Let's watch it. So the Jags are a pretty zone-heavy team under defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell. And so we saw zone coverage in the first clip. And here we're getting a cover 1 look where everyone is manned up with the guy. And there's one deep safety, Andre Cisco. And then usually in cover 1, you'll see like a hole or rat defender where there'll be like a Foye Luakon middle linebacker type just covering the short middle zone. But instead, on this variant of cover 1 man, they had Foye rushing the passer. So it's a 6-man rush and then man coverage across the board with one deep safety. So the miscommunication on this play happens at the bottom of the screen, again with Darius Williams and this time Trey Herndon involved. And so basically, I'm not the coach, so I don't know exactly what their rules are, but obviously the point man for the Texans, the guy that's on the line of scrimmage, is going to be covered by the point man for the Jaguars, who's also on the line of scrimmage. And that's Rayshon Jenkins against, I believe that's Dalton Schultz, their tight end. So Rayshon is going to get Dalton Schultz pretty much regardless, one-on-one, because they're right there, and he'll be able to, doesn't really press him, but he's able to stick right with them immediately. So then it really just comes down to what rule the Jaguars are playing in their coverage against these two other receivers who are off the ball, but in a trips formation. So, like, I don't know if usually, typically it's like, okay, this guy goes outside, so Darius Williams will take him because he's outside, and then the inside guy will get taken by Trey Herndon. Maybe there's some rules where like Trey Herndon takes the shorter route and Darius Williams takes the longer route. Either way, whatever their specific rules were for this play, um, we ended up having Darius Williams and Trey Herndon both follow the same guy. Part of it looks like it's because CJ Stroud does a good job of kind of like looking towards that shorter option before turning his shoulders a little bit more and just rifling the deep ball. So maybe Darius Williams was stuck reading the quarterback size a little bit, but like you see right here, the receiver here is like breaking out of his route, and both Williams and Herndon are like right there ready to cover it. So Tank Dell is just able to get behind the secondary again for a big play. That's really it. It's not too complicated, but the main story is that there's two big miscommunications for the Jaguars defense, and we know all about their offensive problems and all the times that they shot themselves on the foot against the Texans on Sunday. So it's not great to also see it on defense. We also saw it on special teams, obviously, with the Andrew Beck kickoff return and two missed field goals. So Todd Bowles is Mike Caldwell's defense, and he learned under Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. He wants to be really good at stopping the run and just really good in general on first and second downs so that he can steam up some fun coverage variations and blitzes on third downs. So we'll see if this week the Jaguars defense can get back on track just like the offense.